people in your neighborhood, in your neighborhood, in your neighborhood. Say, who are the people in your neighborhood? The people that you meet each day.
Broadcasting live from the Tunes 92.5-104.5 studio. It is People in Your Neighborhood. I am Johnny Keegan. Episode 4. This one's called The Psychic, and I'm actually bringing in a co-host today. Hopefully, knock on wood, she'll be in more as a co-host, but I'm bringing in my lovely wife. Janet is in the studio. She's going to co-host this episode with me. Thank you, sweetie. How are you?
Hi, love.
You're only doing this for one reason.
I'm amazed by it.
And one reason, you're not amazed by the podcast, you're amazed by our guest.
Oh.
Psychic Wilson Stevenson is going to be our special guest. That's why you're here.
Yes, I love psychics.
So she's going to be asking some questions with me, and he's a very, very nice gentleman. I can't wait to have him on the show. Also on the show, great rock band from Fulton, New York, who appeared here many, many times. Granny Four Barrel are playing Unplugged. Really cool. They sound like Disturbed with a violin player.
Really?
It's so freaking cool.
I can't wait.
And from Hinder, he used to be the voice of Hinder. You remember them?
Yeah.
Lips of an Angel. That's it?
Yeah, that's the only one. But yep.
Well, I mean, he made it big time, so we're lucky to have him. Austin Winkler, the former voice of Hinder. He appeared here last weekend, and, we got him on the afternoon show, too. So over the weekend, we had a good weekend. We went to see the Fleetwood Mac tribute band Tusk at the Calit Theater. That's such a gorgeous place.
Yeah, it is. And they were amazing.
They certainly were. And I had a gig on Saturday. And then it's really convenient for me because it happens rarely. Is once in a while I'll get 2 gigs in a row at the same place, and that'll be there at the Harbor Hotel for the next 2 consecutive Saturdays, so I can leave my stuff there. It's so convenient, and it's so rare. But you've got some exciting news. You are now a busy gal.
I am.
You of course have a full-time job.
I do.
You sell makeup. What was the?
I sell Unique.
Okay, and you also own your own with your friend and a salon.
Salon 109.
And that's in Dexter.
It is.
Was that always like a dream? Like since you were like a little kid to be a beautician, or when did that happen?
As a kid,
really?
One of the best gifts I ever got for Christmas was one of those. They were like a Barbie head. It wasn't. Didn't have the whole body. It was just the.
Yeah, I remember those.
Shoulders up with hair. I would spend hours playing with her hair.
Well, did they encourage? I remember that toy. Did they encourage the kids to cut the hair or just comb it?
No, it was just about. Braiding and putting it up and doing different. You didn't cut it because then you didn't have anything more to.
Right. You didn't dye it to punk rock Barbie or anything like that. See, I don't know if you know this. I don't even know if I've ever told you this before. I always wanted to be in radio.
You're right.
Since like 2nd grade, watching WKRP in Cincinnati, but I didn't think that was going to happen. I think you just had to be very lucky or have a God gift to be in radio, and that's not true.
Well, you do.
But I wanted to be a carpenter, a construction worker. And I failed biology by 1 point. I never told you this, I don't think.
I don't think so.
I failed it by 1 point, so I couldn't go to BOCES. I was going to go to BOCES for carpentry.
Is that why you didn't go?
I didn't go because I failed from 1 point. I was really into building stuff. I really enjoyed it, and actually, I did okay. Now I'm just dumb when it comes to things. If it doesn't require duct tape, I can't do it.
It's not that you're dumb. It's just that you don't want to focus on it.
That's true. I don't know why. I just can't.
It's like you don't want to retain it.
Right. I can't retain anything when it comes to fixing things. I did at one time, but then it's gone.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't require duct tape, I don't want anything part of it.
And thank God that I know how to use a screwdriver.
But I got a toy because I wanted to be a construction worker. At 16 years old, I majored in industrial arts in school.
Sure.
I mean, I majored in woodworking and metal shop and all that stuff. I get a toy from my grandparents at 16 years old called the Handy Andy Work Set, which is basically a plastic. And I'm 16.
Right?
It's a plastic saw. It's. I'm like, what? Thank you. You have to put on the act.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not big on Christmas. I have to put on an act every Christmas. Oh, thanks.
But it's all changed now, babe.
Mm-hmm.
I take care of you.
Yeah, you do. Thank you. I don't get any triple extra large sweatpants from you. Much appreciated. So we got a great show. As I mentioned here, Granny Four Barrel is playing Unplugged. We're going to play a tune from them. Talk to the dude from Hinder, Austin Winkler. And again, psychic Wilson Phillips joins us in a few minutes next week. And I got the good news today is you turned me on to the show Blue Bloods.
Yeah.
I love that show.
It's a great show.
I didn't want to like it, but I love it. And I think the guy was on The Sopranos. He plays the Italian lawyer, Steve Sciarpa, something like that. He's calling us up. So we're going to have him on the podcast next
awesome.
week. He makes spaghetti sauce. He's Italian. Go figure. So he's going to talk to us next week. I hope this show's taken off. I'm really worried about it, and I'm worried about it. Like maybe I don't even want to do it because people in the area don't even know what a podcast is. It's so frustrating. I use this service there, and people don't know how to use the service that I put the podcast on, and it's just really complicated. I hope it does well. I want it to do well, but on the back of me, I'm like, oh, I should just quit because it's just people don't
Only
get
4
it.
episodes in.
I know, but I just want it to be a big success immediately.
Immediately. And I understand that. Trust me. I understand that.
I understand that. Nobody knows how to work SoundCloud. You just press the triangle, which is play. That's it. I get that all the time. It's frustrating.
Podcast?
Yeah, what's a podcast? I'm a little technical.
Challenge.
I'm a rocket science in my job, but I don't know what a podcast is. It's just a different way to express some views. It's like I call it a radio show.
It's like a talk show on the radio.
Exactly. And there's so many different
And I'm the
podcasts.
Oprah.
Well, you don't even know what podcasts are. You don't listen to any of them.
I don't, but
And
you
they're-
listen to ones that I don't. I don't want to listen to wrestling ones.
Thanks for saying that I listen to wrestling podcasts. Thanks for putting that out there. I don't watch it anymore. They talk to Roddy Piper.
You do watch it. I catch you watching it all the time, and
Oh,
you say,
all the time.
I'm not watching it. It's just on.
It's just on so I can walk on the treadmill and I don't have to think. Thanks for busting me on that. All right. She watches Young and the Restless.
I do. Guilty pleasure. No matter how bad my day is, it's never as bad as Genoa City.
I think we have a good connection talking. We're married. We're doing all right. Will you come back?
I will come
Will
back.
you come back and
I
do this
will.
again with me? We
Yeah.
have a good chemistry. We met this way, kind of, sort of. So I think you should do
know.
this again.
That time I was super nervous, though.
Well, so was I, because you're so hot, and I had to talk, and now I'm used to you.
Yeah.
Thanks, babe.
Love
Wilson
you.
We're going to talk to Wilson Stevenson next. Welcome back to the People in Your Neighborhood podcast. I'm Johnny Keegan, and our main guest today is very cool to talk to, and I'm very honored that he took the time to come on by. Psychic Wilson Stevenson is our special guest. Thank you so much for coming to the podcast. How are you today?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me.
I'm a little concerned, though. You called me and said, yeah, I'll do your podcast, but you asked for directions. Now, you're a psychic. Shouldn't you know where you're going at all times?
Nope. I have a bad sense of direction.
Well, you and me both. And how come, my first question is, how come you're not a millionaire?
Because I do this for, because it's what I'm thinking of property gain.
Uh-huh.
The spirit world would not work for that.
That's what I've always heard. So no numbers are ever coming to you to play the lottery.
No, if I had the lottery numbers, I would not be here.
When did you realize you have this gift?
I always knew things when I was younger, but when I was 30, I actually started reading about it and started learning more about it and opened up to it.
Has there been a great reception when you started learning about it at the age of 30? And
Oh, no, we didn't talk about it.
Yeah, that's something you kept hush-hush
Yeah.
because some people are
Yeah.
on the fence about
We're
this
still in
kind
the
of
broom
stuff.
closet.
Uh-huh. And so you've been a psychic for over 25, 30
I've been
years?
doing readings and helping people out for the last 25 years.
Okay, but you knew you had this as a gift when you were younger.
Yeah, I'd have a dream and a week or two later it would come true, or I would just know something before it happened.
Can you tell me some examples of that, like in history or whatever? You kind of knew that something was coming?
I remember my cousin, I dreamed of him passing, and 2 weeks later he passed exactly the way it happened in the dream.
Wow. I feel like I have a little bit of a psychic ability
Everybody
myself.
does.
Really?
Yeah, you just got to learn how to develop it or what it means for you.
My wife is my co-host today, and she loves you already, and she has a question, so I'm going to give her the mic here. Talk right in.
So when you first started realizing that you had this gift and you decided to do something more with it, do you have to practice? Like, do you have to practice to make yourself better? Or?
You're right. What I did, because I used to work at Fort Drum, and I had my employees bring in a picture every day of someone, and I would read the picture of the person. And I was like 55% of the time I'd hit it. By the time we got done, I was right on the money with their personality, if they were still alive, their health.
Can you do this? Okay, when you mentioned your cousin, that you had the premonition that he would die, and 2 weeks later he did. Can you go? Is it against the grain, I guess, to forewarn that person? Hey, take it easy.
No, well,
watch what you're doing. Don't cross the street.
I was only 10 years old at the time, and so I just thought it was more of a dream. And then it happened. So
you're a very busy guy with this. This is your career.
Yes, I'm. It keeps me busy.
And do we want to promote?
I still got. That's the only thing I do. So.
Okay, so give yourself a little promotion here. Where can people find you to book you for your events?
I'm on Facebook, Wilson Stevenson. I also have a group on Facebook, Wilson's Vision, and there we put down where I'm going to be at. I do a lot of fundraisers in the spring and the fall. And then I do them during the day, evenings. So,
what is your vibe for the future of this podcast? Is it going to succeed or not?
I feel good about it. I got a good 85%. That's good.
I like those odds. I will take whatever I can do. Thank you, Wilson. I appreciate that. Do you have any questions? Yes, of course my wife does. She loves this stuff. So let me give you here.
When you're doing a reading, do you focus more on people who have passed, or do you focus on something that's going on in their life now, or a little bit of both? Or how does a typical reading go for you?
It's a mixture of both. I usually zone in on the person that's passed around them, and then that person sort of takes over and tells me what's going on, and then I do a little of the past, present, and the future, and I do the little health care. I can do a blood test, CAT scan, and go through the person and tell them what's wrong with them.
Do you always give them the good, the bad, the ugly?
I give them, if I get it, I give it. Before I do any readings or do any groups, I always say, I do a little prayer. Be with us. Only show me the things we can handle, things we can change. And so that way I don't get nothing. If you can't handle it, I won't get it.
Right.
If you can't change it, I won't get it.
So
If I get it, I say it.
Wilson, let me ask you this question here. You're grocery shopping at Price Chopper or Walmart, wherever you go. Do you get a read of everybody you run across?
Nope, I shut it off like a light switch.
You can really?
Yeah.
Okay. So turn on that light switch. You've already given the podcast an 85%, and we like you already. Can I ask you a little bit of a reading here?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me the importance of my grandmother and what it means to me, and why, after all these years, she's still a big, big part of my life.
I'm going to sort of notch in a butt there a bit, because when people ask you that direct of a question, then I go thinking.
Okay.
And I screw up.
Okay.
It's got to go,
So basically
your grandmother has passed.
Oh, yeah. Long time ago.
I get congested heart failure, filling it with fluids, and lived a good old life. I get a grandma's boy.
Sure.
And for some reason, she keeps patting you on the back or rubbing your back.
Really?
Because you got back problems.
Not that I know of, but maybe that's a tribute to the legs have been giving me some issues. Maybe so. Okay. This stuff is awesome. I love. I'll give the mic to my wife and give her a little bit of. You can tell her how awesome I am.
Oh,
that the reason why she's with me. She already. Please ask a question.
I had once heard. It's kind of like a karma question. If you've done something bad in a past life, we'll say I shot somebody in a past life, it's very likely I'll be shot to death in this present life. Is that correct?
Yes, karma's a bitch.
Yes. I have heard that.
I tell people that and it seems like marriage. If you get married and you get divorced and you have so much anger and hatred and you resent that person so bad, you might have to come back and do it again and marry them again.
I've heard that as
So
well.
I say forgive them, let it go.
Yes.
You don't got to go to dinner with them. You don't got to invite them to your house, but just let it go, because that anger and crap will make you health
So
issues.
you can keep replaying
Yeah.
doing the recycle of marriage to the same person and
And it can go both. I mean, if it's a good marriage and you want to come back together, that's great. But if it's a karma thing,
how many times do we have a past life?
everybody has different ones. Have you ever heard the saying, old souls and young souls in a person?
Yes. Yep.
And that's just meaning how many more, the older the soul, they've been here more.
I got it.
I say most of our politicians are young souls.
Amen.
What can you give for advice for our listeners of the podcast to live a healthy life and not to hold things, to let things go, basically?
To forgive and don't dwell on what you can't change. Let go. I use myself as a big example because I was in a major car accident 6 years ago.
Yeah, and you're lucky to be here.
And then when the guy came up to me and apologized and shook my hand, I told him it's okay. I forgive him.
The person who hit you?
Yeah.
And you're lucky to be here today.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knew about your accident. And again, here's the question of not playing the lottery. You had no idea this was coming.
That's the joke. Didn't you see it coming? I said when I turned my head.
Yeah.
But 6 months or so before the accident, my spirit guides were telling me to close my barbershop, get out of the American, I was a finance officer, a bartender, and quit doing that job and just do this. And I told them I couldn't do it. Well, then they said, here's a tractor trailer. What are you going to do now?
Wow.
So since my right arm's paralyzed, I can't cut hair no more. And I can't tend bar no more, so...
Wilson Stevenson is our special guest as part of the podcast, People in Your Neighborhood, and it's been a real pleasure to have you here. Is there any other questions? You're good? Is there any advice? I mean, we've already given advice, as you know, on to live a healthy life is forgive and let go. Is there anything else? And we'll ask you to plug your Facebook pages again, too, so people can get a hold of you. You have one more question? You're good? Okay. You look like you were going to tap. Is there anything that you can tell our listeners? I know you gave advice about living a healthy life, forgive and forget. Anything else that you'd want to tell our listeners of the podcast?
I believe in meditating, finding your own peace. I guess enjoy life for yourself and not live it for other people.
Thank you so much. It's a great advice. Plug your Facebook pages and get a hold of you, please.
You can contact me on Facebook, Wilson Stevenson, or I have a group, Wilson's Vision. I'll be doing fundraisers again in the fall this year, or in the spring. I'll be doing fundraisers.
Are we going to be okay as a country with everything that's going on right now with Trump and with NFL players taking a knee and with all these sex scandals in Hollywood? Are we going to overcome this?
We're in a spiritual realm right now, and the only way to get to the positive side of it, we've got to hit rock bottom, and that's what's going on. It's been going on for the last 10 years. It's not much longer to go. World's not going to an end. It just is going to be, people are going to stand up and start believing what they need to believe in, more spiritual, and be prepared for a lot of snow.
Thank you. Wilson Stevenson's been our guest, People in Your Neighborhood podcast. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
And again, thank you so much to Psychic Wilson Stevenson stopping by. I think I was listening to the interview, and I think I said Wilson Phillips one time when it's referring to him. Wilson Stevenson, thank you so much. A couple weeks ago, the dude from Hinder stopped into Watertown and played. Austin John something there. Austin John Winkler. The dude from Hinder, 2-hit wonder, Lips of an Angel, and Get Stoned. But he was a cool guy to talk to. And we're going to chat with him in just a second. You can advertise on the People of Your Neighborhood. It's so simple. It's $5 an ad. Get a hold of me by hitting up my website, not my website, but email me at johnnykeegan@yahoo.com. Filling up very fast. There's really not too many dates left for Keegan and Company tour of 2018 for weddings. Think about that too. Again, there's a Facebook page for the Keegan and Company site. We appreciate that. All right, so let's hear from Austin John Winkler of Hinder.
Yeah, I was looking for Johnny Keegan.
This must be Austin John Winkler. What's going on, man?
Austin, what's up, man? Hanging.
Well, you come to town and we get all this kind of storm. Is this an...
Oh, dude, I've been bringing the weather, man. That's what I do.
You're bringing the weather. It must be like a rocking show if you're bringing all these winds and heavy rains and floods. Austin Winkler is in town tonight. Former voice of Hinder. How's the day find you, my friend? When did you get into town?
It's good, man. I want to say we probably rolled in around 2, maybe. I don't know. I was sleeping.
What time do you usually... Are you one of those 4 a.m. rock stars that go to bed at 4 a.m. or 6 a.m. kind of guys?
Dude, I'm a night owl, yeah. I don't usually get up out of bed until about, well, I guess now.
Well, good morning to you then. So it takes a lot, like after you've given everything you've got on stage to wind down.
Yeah, it's true. It takes a little bit for the adrenaline to at ease and try to go to bed. But I mean, whenever you travel at 2 a.m. or 4 a.m. and stuff like that, you just you're just kind of reverse like life. Like my noon is midnight. So.
Are you like an athletic guy? I mean, like after a show, do you think you could probably, with all that adrenaline, run like 10 miles?
No, definitely not.
Well, I couldn't either.
I can put the adrenaline into something else, but like
gotcha.
Not a triathlon.
Well, we've been giving away your shows. You got a lot of great opening bands opening up from the area. Do you get time, before shows to actually check out some of the local bands?
Sometimes I do, yeah. Sometimes I do, and then sometimes I'll have personal meet and greets and stuff like that, and sometimes it prevents me from watching them. But I try to check out bands as much as I can.
And when one of those bands gives you a CD, do you actually get time to listen to it?
Oh, I'll listen to it. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure, that's very cool to hear, man. Very cool. Well, tell us about, man, what people can expect to see tonight at the show at the exhibition hall at the fairgrounds.
Well, I mean, it'll be like it'll be a mix of like Lovesick Radio and some songs that haven't been recorded yet, which I'll decide like at the last minute what I want to play. And then a lot of Hinder hits. So it'll be a good show, man. Like people definitely need to come out and see it.
Have you thought about starting over and just dropping the Hinder name and just kind of? Does that bring you a lot of fans? I mean, have you just thought about, hey, I'm new, let's start fresh, Austin John Winkler it is, and put Hinder on the back burner?
Well, no, I definitely thought about that. But the thing is, like, that's my heritage. It's still me, no matter what it is.
Sure.
I mean, those are my songs, and I wrote them and stuff like that. So it's still a big part of me. But I mean, as far as dropping the name, it's definitely been considered. So.
Tell me about at the height of Lips of an Angel and Get Stoned, and you guys were almost a household name. How was it back then? I mean, was just money coming in left and right? Could you get the best seat in the house at a restaurant? Did celebrities want to meet you? Tell me about that.
I mean, no, yeah, of course it was great. It wasn't it wasn't anything that we were prepared for, but it was amazing to take in, and the fact that it was real things that happened to me. I think that was the richest part about it.
Was that song written about an ex-girlfriend or?
Yeah, 2 of them. Yeah.
Very cool. All right, gotcha. Let's do some quick questions here, and let's just spit them right out as soon as you think. What's your favorite classic rock go-to song?
Under My Thumb.
Your favorite new group?
I don't know how you'd say it. The 1975, I guess.
Very cool. Your guilty pleasure band?
The 1975.
Okay, I gotcha. What is your favorite TV show?
That's a good question. My favorite TV show. Oh man, it's so hard. Hang on a second. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
And then your favorite book.
Any music autobiography.
Oh, what is the last one you read?
That's a good one.
See,
Actually,
I'm like you.
The last one I read actually wasn't a music one. It's the Chris Farley Show.
Okay, I read that book too. I'm the same way. Like any rock star biography, I'll read. I even read when it goes on sale at Amazon. I read the Steven Adler book, which was not that good, but hey, it's $1.99. I'll read it. Yeah, I'm with you. What are you going to be doing for new recordings with the name Austin John Winkler? What do you got coming up?
Well, we'll finish this tour in the month, and then I'm writing new songs right now, like on tour. So we're gonna try to knock out another 6 songs, and then have a full LP, and then tour in February.
Well, thank you. I know you're busy and going to be doing sound check real soon. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us, sir.
All good, man. Thank you.
All right, we'll see you at the show tonight.
All right, very good.
It's the People in Your Neighborhood podcast, broadcasted live in the Tunes 92.5 104.5 studio. Thanks to Austin John Winkler of Hinder calling in. Next week, big guest on the podcast. One of the guests will be from the show Blue Bloods. You might remember him from The Sopranos. Steve Sharippa is calling us up, talking about his new pasta sauce, Blue Bloods, the legendary actor Frank Vincent, and a stunning announcement that he made when we interview him. That's coming up next week. So one of our businesses that are advertising on us, if you'd like to do that, email me at johnnykeegan@yahoo.com. One of the businesses is Salon 109. They are open for business. Whether you need an updated haircut, cover up those gray hairs, or freshen up your highlights, they've got you covered. And gentlemen, they're not leaving you out. Stop by, get a fresh haircut and beard trim. Salon 109 also offers facials that they customize for your skin type. If you're tired of shaving, they offer a wide variety of waxing from your eyebrows down to the toes and everything in between. 109 Water Street in Dexter, next to Willie's. Call 315-918-4050. Here is a group I think you're going to be hearing a lot of. And I love they have members of the band named The Butcher and Granny. I think they have something very unique going. And we were gifted when they came into the studio and played Unplugged. This is Granny 4-Barrel. It's the People in Your Neighborhood podcast.
Shoot it, hashtag it, post that.
do it, baby. Freak flag tonight, gotta do it, baby. Freak flag tonight, gotta do it, baby. Hey! Freak flag fly! Freak flag! Freedom! Freedom! Give me another one. Freedom! One more! Let your freak flag fly!
Much love for listening to the People in Your Neighborhood podcast as we wrap it up, and a big thank you to Granny Four Barrel. You're going to be hearing that tune right on my radio station at Tunes 92.5, 104.5. Granny Four Barrel, Freak Flag, man. Awesome stuff. Thank you to psychic Wilson Stevenson for stopping by and talking about being a psychic. That's what the People in the Neighborhood podcast is all about, meeting people in your neighborhood. And our celebrity, if you call him that, Austin Winkler of the band Hinder. He is a nice guy. I don't mean to bust his chops. Nice guy. Next week, from Blue Bloods, Steve Sharippa is calling us up. And I think that's pretty cool. I'm wishing you a great week. Thanks for tuning in to the People in Your Neighborhood podcast, episode 4.